The drone gives us a perspective to view wildlife behavior that we just never had before. It's really a fantastic advantage, not just for filming, but just even observing what the animals are doing. My name is Mark Romanov. I'm a wildlife cameraman, and I specialize in flying drones and filming underwater. I get really excited about using drones when the footage is also valuable to researchers, when it allows us a new perspective to share with researchers that they'd never seen before.
A lot of different researchers, scientists, agencies were asking us, can we help them as well figure out how to use this technology for ocean protection? And that's how Oceans Unmanned was born, as a nonprofit to help facilitate the use of unmanned technologies for environmental research and monitoring.
Looking for birds in trees is very difficult. So we use infrared technology that helps us differentiate between the heat signatures and infrared signatures, which makes birds in trees easier to find. Oregon State University wanted to study this particular type of seabird, a marbled murrelet, a bird in a tree, essentially a needle in a haystack. These trees are up to 300 feet tall. You have to keep a visual range of it, but also get between trees. And a compact UAV is the key to flying around tight quarters. Whether it's search and rescue or animal research, any animal is hotter than its environment, and you'll be able to see it using infrared technology. Oceans Unmanned has a program called EcoDrone. It stands for Environmentally Conscious Operations. The less impact humans can have on the environment, the better, using technologies, UAVs, infrared sensors, any type of remote technology forwards that concept of environmentally conscious operations.
As we are working with different agencies to help monitor wildlife, the topic of recreational drones disturbing wildlife kept on coming up. And the Bureau of Land Management approached us and said, we have this need for an education outreach program to try to educate drone operators about wildlife disturbance and the potential for drones to disturb animals. And that was the genesis of the EcoDrone program.
Drones can cause disturbance to wildlife, but there are ways as drone operators, there are things that we can do when we fly to reduce or minimize those disturbance effects. I've looked at how feral horses respond to drone flights on the Rachel Carson Reserve in Beaufort, North Carolina. Most of my research over the past couple of years has been on how wildlife respond to drones, which is the first step in understanding how we can use this great new tool in a responsible way.
So we use drones in a variety of different kinds of projects, from studying changes in coastlines to understanding the health of individual animals. Disturbance is probably one of the foremost things on our mind when we're out collecting information. In Antarctica, we're using drones to do things like study penguin populations, but we're also using them to study individual animals. So in this case, we use multi-copter drones to be able to study the body condition of individual whales. We fly the drone over the animal, and because we understand our altitude and we understand our sensor dimensions, we're able to scale the pixels in every one of those pictures to a real-world value, and that allows us to then estimate the length and the width of the animals. And we know that fat whales are happy whales, so that helps us understand how animals may grow through the season or how they might be responding to changes in their prey. But there's a huge need to be able to be environmentally conscious as well when you're doing those drone flights. So programs like EcoDrone are actually really fundamental for training drone operators to think about those things more and to help guide their activities so that they still are able to get the enjoyment of flying a drone in an environment, but also do that in a way that doesn't harm the environment.
I have two kids that are growing up in a world facing extreme environmental challenges, but I want them to be optimistic about the power of technology to address those issues. EcoDrone is just one small program talking about how to use technology in an environmentally responsible way, but I think that applies to all technology and the challenges we're facing in integrating those in a variety of spaces across society today.
Here in the Hawaiian Islands Humpback Whale National Sanctuary, it's an important habitat for humpback whales in the North Pacific. More than half of the humpback whales are going to come down here to breed, give birth, and nurse their young. And I coordinate a community-based effort to help free whales from life-threatening entanglements. It's a big impact. It is one of the largest ones for marine animals, including the large whales like humpback whales. Well, whales get entangled in just about anything out there. It can be fishing gear, it can be marine debris, and it can have a major impact on the animals. You know, the process of trying to cut a large whale free of entangled gear starts with the preparation. How are we going to approach the animal? Is it safe? What tools do we want in that case? And that's where drones come in. The use of drones help us minimize the number of approaches we need to make, give us a different view, an aerial view of the gear and the animal and its condition. Really, more than anything, it's just safety. It reduces our risk as responders. Having that drone in the toolbox makes the whole procedure a much safer one.
We're seeing these incredible projects where we utilize our technology to create visuals from the air of nature, of animals, in shows like BBC's Planet Earth. But these projects require a lot of planning. They require proper training, authorizations, and also experts in regards to wildlife and conservation, so we're not impacting the environment. Utilizing the technology, the expertise, and having people that know how to do it with the least possible impact to the environment is key for such projects.
We don't always know how the drone might be affecting wildlife, so it's very important to constantly be observing, assessing how wildlife might respond to the drone. Often the first sign that an animal is aware of the drone is as simple as them just looking up at it. And when they start to do that, that's about time that you realize you should slowly back away and respect their space.
When you're planning your flight, it's important to establish thresholds where if you see animals exhibiting a certain behavior or a certain response, that you know it's time to either adjust your flight path or to come back and land. Generally, the trend seems to be that the higher you fly, the less disturbance you cause. So flying as high as you can within FAA limits to get the imagery that you need is the best way to minimize disturbance around wildlife.
When someone buys a recreational drone, they may not realize it, but in a way they're becoming a pilot and they need to know all the laws that pertain to pilots. It may be a fun thing to do, but there's a responsibility and obligation that comes with it. If you are going to visit a national park, a wildlife refuge, even state park, and certainly a national marine sanctuary, you should make sure you understand what the regulations are at that site pertaining to overflights and drones and aircraft before you launch your drone inside that park.
Everybody hears about drones every day and potential of delivering packages, medical response, emergency response, firefighting, the stuff we're doing with environment. Drones are here to stay. The challenge is to integrate those into our daily lives safely and responsibly, not only to the people and the infrastructure, but to the environment.